Good afternoon, Section F, family and friends. My name is Ethan Ruan, and I was the section's accounting professor, but please don't tune me out because of that, because as I'm sure the graduates will tell you, accounting is fascinating and the only subject where you can actually peer pressure the professor into sharing a beer at 10 in the morning. It is a tremendous and terrifying honor to be here representing the HBS faculty for all of your loved ones who were too polite to ask you to repeat it when you told them how much your degree would cost. Still, looking back at the last 2 years, it is now clear that all the student loans and lack of sleep and stress were worth it. At least they were worth it for me because I rest easier knowing that I can count on you to deal with whatever comes next. The last few years tested you in many ways, but none so much as they tested your character. You were thrown into a den of hyper-competitive people against whom you'd be benchmarked, and you were told to collaborate, to work together and lift each other up, even if that effort came at a personal cost. And you, Section F, did this so well. Pause for self-congratulatory applause. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that part out loud. Let me set the scene for those of you in the audience who have not had a chance to come to a class because it can be difficult to understand how challenging it is to be a decent human being in the HBS classroom. So, friends, family, imagine that all your life you've been the absolute best at school. You were the one the teacher called on when he needed the right answer, and because of that, you were praised over and over again. And it felt oh so good. Now imagine that you are put into a room with 90 people who are just as good at school as you are. And the teacher doesn't need to call on you anymore because everyone has the right answer. And now you have to constantly be at the ready to put your hand up to share that right answer. And if you don't get called on to provide the right answer, you won't get the A's that you've been getting your whole life that felt oh so good. The temptation is to plant your flag early, to put your hand up constantly, not just to show how smart you are, but to show that you are smarter than the person who spoke last. Resisting this temptation is an important test at HBS, and it is one that this section passed early and often. For me, your generosity to one another was the greatest gift I could receive. Still, this test of character at HBS is largely contrived. You come into the program relatively certain that you will graduate, that you'll get a fantastic, high-paying job, and that you'll be enveloped into a network that will ensure that you have fantastic, high-paying jobs until you are ready to retire. As you all figured out quickly, there's little risk in being a decent human being in this situation. And so I urge you all to constantly ask yourself if you would act the same when what is at stake is all the material glory you've collected. Perhaps the most famous modern answer to this question is Muhammad Ali's response to being drafted into the US Armed Forces during the Vietnam War. Ali was the heavyweight champion and the most famous person in the world at the time. He was also a devout Muslim who thought that war was wrong, and so he refused to enlist. Realizing the bad press that would ensue, the government promised Ali a cushy posting. Traveling around the world to put on exhibition matches for troops, he would have never seen combat. But his convictions forbade military service, and his refusal resulted in him being stripped of his title and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Estimates suggest that he missed out on tens of millions of dollars of earnings, and there was discussion of banning him for life from professional boxing. He could have lost all his material glory, but he never wavered. Ali realized something that I hope all of you will strive to realize. Just like you are the best at school, he was the best at boxing. But boxing was not the talent that would help him better the lives of others. To accomplish his broader goal, he needed to be great at loving others and being loved by them. And so he figured out how he could translate his inherent material skills into this less tangible one. He did this both when the cameras were on him, which they usually were, and when they were not. Shortly before Ali fought the draft, he was driving his Cadillac around Chicago and came across the sheriff carrying out the belongings of a family being evicted from their home. Ali, in a three-piece suit, got out of his car and silently carried every piece of furniture out on the curb back into the house as the sheriff stood in shock. Once the sheriff finally left, Ali got back into his car and drove off. This story came to light only 2 years ago when the woman who was being evicted told it to a reporter shortly before her death. So Ali never received the recognition for it or the countless other kindnesses that he made part of his inherent nature. So my ask to you, Section F, is to examine how you behave when the cameras are off. When you're walking along a busy street, pressed for time, and have the opportunity to inconvenience yourself to provide a kindness to others, regardless of the sacrifice to yourself. As your classmate Amy wrote about the efforts that she, Steve, Sarika, and others have taken to hold CEOs accountable, we as MBA students have a voice, and with that, a duty to make the voices of the most vulnerable heard. Your voice will continue to grow exponentially, and with it will grow the temptation to focus inwardly on those innate abilities that have given you that voice. Measure your success not by these abilities, but by how you use the voice you have earned. Thank you for your attention and for serving as an inspiration, a source of great hope in a time of great uncertainty. Now, Jan Rivkin will explain to you the various honors and awarded to students.
Congratulations again to the class of 2020. You are now officially HBS graduates. You know, commencement day is my favorite day of the year. I love seeing our students so happy. I love seeing their families and friends rightly proud of their graduates and so excited about their bright futures. We now come to my favorite part of my favorite day of the year, the diploma ceremony, when we recognize each and every member of your session. As members of the class of 2020 are recognized, you'll hear mention of three kinds of honors. The first is distinction. This is for students who earned academic honors in both the first year and the second year of our program. The second is high distinction. These individuals not only earned honors in the first year and the second year, their combined academic performance placed them in the top 5% of their class as a whole. These students are also known as George F. Baker Scholars, commemorating the individual whose generosity in the 1920s allowed us to build the campus. I invite you to look at the Baker Scholars page on the Commencement Day website to learn more about the legacy of George F. Baker and this particular distinction. Third and last, but by no means least, the Dean's Award celebrates the extraordinary achievements of graduating students who, during their time at HBS, made distinctive contributions to Harvard Business School, or the broader community. These students have contributed to the well-being of others through extraordinary acts of leadership. Students and all members of the community nominate these individuals, and then Dean Noria makes the final selection. So please enjoy the diploma ceremony, celebrate each and every member of your section. I hope that your section will remain close as mine has, and I hope that these 2 years at HBS will be just the beginning of an ongoing conversation among you as you enjoy long, happy years of making differences that are meaningful to you and meaningful for the world. Be well and be close.
So let's take a moment to shake our heads in disbelief at these people who chose to work hard enough to graduate at the top of their class when they could have played it smart, failed a few classes, and had the opportunity to stick around for a third year. In reality, as someone who had assigned grades in both the first and second year classes, I know how challenging it is to consistently perform so well. To do so is no small achievement, but neither is surviving the 2 years at HBS. I always brag to my colleagues at other business schools that not only do these students not complain, but they even take pride in the fact that they work harder than their peers at all other top schools. With that, we will transition to the distribution of the diplomas.
Amasafe Ayavbomwan. Nishi Anand. Ed Arthi. Sophie Bai. Anna Begley. Tina Bailinson. Allie Bienenstock. Jason Brown. Farah Bowie. Eric Kane. Bilge Chosh. Chelsea Celestin. Lily Chen. Sabarish Nikhil Chinta, high distinction. Michael Chinelli. Mauricio Correa Ibargüengoitia. Adam Croft. Bijan Darko. Anup Date, distinction. Lily De Alba. Michael Deliakis. Januar Dijong. Benjamin Dupays. Michael Gleason. Pharaoh Green. John Gua. Andrew Harris. Zachary Hoyt, distinction. Raph Hubbard. Oliver Cagle. Andrew Kahn. Zach Keeling. Rohan Kubchandani. Jay Kim. Nicole Koski. Ignacio Lar Terigoshin, distinction. Casey Lee. Kai Lim. Bill Long. Ryan Lynch. Mario Malave. Peter Manas Tierney. Matan Mansour. Neha Mather. Karmi Medoff. Sarika Mendu. Tess Michaels. Rebecca Millian. Nikki Miller. Yoon Jin Min. Luchi Megwa. Steve Moore. Christopher Murray. Han Nguyen. Pavel Nogalski. Salvador Ochagavia. Hirsch Patel. Erez Perelson. Victor Pinto. Hillary Pond. Fyodor Popov. John Poppy, distinction. Vinay Rathi. Philippe Romano, distinction. Gabe Rosen, high distinction. Sam Sagarts, high distinction. Dareen Salema. Samantha Sanders, distinction. Kira Schott. Rishi Shah. Kelly Shaw. Hillary Sieber. Kaya Simmons. Tyler Simpson. Reggie Smith, high distinction. Kate Stevens. Alexander Stick. Issei Suzuki. Stacy Tan. Ian Tung, distinction. Jake Tauscher, distinction. Marissa Teal. Vanessa Trin. Christian Villamizar. Amy Villaseñor. Isabella Wexler. Blake Wilson. Chris Wustemeyer, distinction. Kevin Zhu. Isabel Yap. Nicole Yeska. Jonathan Yip. Heather Zali. Pamela Zidane Hawa. John Zhao.
So I totally underestimated what a moving treat this would be to get to see all of your smiling faces again. That was such a privilege. You've all been such an important part of my life. So thank you again for including me. So as a last exercise, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and think about your friends from high school. Think about that first break from college when you came home so excited to see them and tell them about the new friends who would now stick with you for all 4 years of school. Now, think about how many of the people in this ever-expanding circle you still see on a regular basis. How many you talk to about your joys and worries as your life flies by. 5 years from now, it will be no different with this group as it was with your friends from past lives. Getting together will be exciting because of its infrequency. And if you're lucky, a handful of them will be with you as you tick off the next milestone. We live so many lives, and we cannot bring with us everyone we love as we transition from one life to the next. Now close your eyes again and think about the people who are here with you today. Were they there with you at your high school graduation, the first time you had your heart broken? Will they be there when you quit the job you hate, when you get the promotion you're dreaming of today? However you define family, what flows through that word is constancy. The constancy of support in times of frustration and uncertainty, of pure joy in your successes. Appropriately, we conclude this ceremony with a tribute to that family. So one last time, thank you for being here, for being you, and for including me in this remarkable day.